Hey guys and girls, Super X here. Tonight I'm talking about a new wicking product that I was turned on to. Really chill dude in a vape shop in Kennesaw that I happened to dip into Facebook amigo. And he said he's down in Kennesaw. So I figured I'm going to check him out because I'm up this way, like north of Kennesaw in the Atlanta area. And I figured I'd go down and check him out. And while I was down there, we started to kind of shoot the breeze about coils, wicks, blah, blah, blah. He has some killer mods. Aaron Chino McCann, he runs the Kennesaw Vintage Vapors. So I told him I use this stuff, you know, what I've been using for years. What is it called? KGD? Cogengo. Wasn't on any shortage of wicks. Had plenty of it. Plenty of KGD. And he said, you tried out this stuff yet? Native wicks. I said, nah, man, I'm good. I got KGD. He goes, got to give this stuff a try. And he showed it to me, and I was like, wow, it's pretty interesting. And then I read about it, and liked what I read. You know, grown and processed in the U.S., contains no pesticides, chemicals, or natural oils, extremely absorbent and heat resistant. I said, well, that sounds pretty tight. And I got to looking at it and pulling it out, and the bubble tape action of it, you know, it's pretty cool. And I've been running it now since whenever that was, 2 or 3 weeks ago. I started to one by one re-wick all my atomizers with it. So then, I mean, he gave me like a pretty decent amount of puck, but then I did like all I always do. I went into horde mode, so I had to pick up 4 more pucks. Got those at Nico Ticket. So you can get them at B&M's and get them online. But I'm making this video because, to me, I found it to be a killer product. Now, why don't we just go ahead and just shoot the camera around, and we'll look at why I like it. We'll throw it in an atomizer, and I'll show you why I like it. But let's look at it up close and get a really good look at it. And I mean, it's not like picking the seeds on KGD was the end of my world, but just in general, let's look. This is Pima too. I mean, just you can research it. It's killer stuff. But let's look at what I got here. Here, let's check it out up and close. All right, so here we have basically the native wicks comes in this little puck. It's about 3 feet long, I believe, is what comes in it. Again, I purchased mine from Nico Ticket because when I realized how cool it was, I knew, like I said, I had to hoard up as much as I could. So I did. This is what's left from what Aaron gave me. He gave me a pretty decent little amount that I've been playing with. So let's take a kind of a good look at it. Again, let's read what it says here. I mean, all those things look pretty cool to me, you know. I don't like pesticides and all that stuff. But the beauty of this wick, from what I can see from it, the difference between it and Cogengo, the first thing you'll notice is it does not have any seeds. I'm going to try and tighten up a little bit here. It's seedless. And it's kind of like one big length of wick. Okay, I'm pulling on it. It's not coming apart. So separating it, you'll see that these are really long fibers. And I believe from what I've read that it's called Pima cotton. So it comes in 3 feet in a puck. So what I've typically been doing is I'll just hack me off, like for instance the atomizer will wick tonight. I'll know that actually I'll just probably use these pieces I've already hacked off here. We can look at those, but there's kind of, again, what you're gonna get. A lot more than that. But since I tried it, it's been my go-to thing. And I was always one of these dudes that was like, I remember when we were using CVS rolled cotton years ago. I always thought that was about the best thing there could be. Then I started to use KGD, and it was like, it just doesn't get any better than this. What could possibly get better? And I've always kind of been against what I thought were like glorified repackaged wicks. But this definitely is not like just a repackaged KGD. It's completely different. Never tried any of the other like freaking cotton sausage or any of that stuff. As a matter of fact, though, Aaron did give me a little sample of that, but I haven't broken it out and even used it because it looked too much. It reminded me too much of like rayon. Just to look at. This wasn't me looking at, but this is me looking at. This is perfectly me. These little strands and little fibers of long strands of cotton. And there's no seed picking. So let's dive a little bit deeper and let's throw it into an atomizer real quick. Let's kind of watch how it works. It's supposedly really heat resistant. I haven't tested it on any of that. I'm not like going to try and intentionally dry hit it. So when you compress it and squeeze it, it kind of, what's the word I'm going to look for here? It doesn't really compress and squeeze. It's dense. So that means what you're putting into your atomizer is basically, that's the form it's going to kind of keep. It's not going to be like KGD and like swell up on you, or like most cottons. This one, I just find it to be an excellent wicking media, such that, like I said, I probably have a lifetime supply of KGD, and went out and restocked with this. Hopefully this will last me many years. I'm guessing that it will. Alright, in this particular configuration, I've got dual vertical coils. There you see them. So here's my that little deal that I had before that I was showing you of the wick. So this would probably, these are 2.5 millimeter ID coils. So what I'm looking for is basically about that density. Maybe it's slightly more, slightly less. I've been running this for about, what, 2.5 weeks now maybe. So there may be people out there that could tell you a lot more about it. But I know how I like to wick, and I know how it's been performing really well. So what I'm doing is, I'm not really doing much with it. I'm trying to wet my fingers, and the way I usually do with KGD was to always like kind of twist a point. But I wanted to show you that. You can see when you try and twist a point in this, it doesn't really make a big point, does it? Because it's pretty dense stuff. Like I was trying to tell you, it makes a little point, but try and get like a real spear in it, and it just doesn't happen. It doesn't work like that. It works differently because it's denser, longer fibers. It's not kind of a conglomeration of fibers like KGD is. This may be a slightly thin piece here. Working through the viewfinder, things get fun. So vertically wicking would kind of show you give you a good benchmark of how quickly this stuff pulls up through. Right? So this is kind of how I've been doing it. Again, feel free to giggle away. I'm kind of new to verts. I've never ran verts until I got this wick, and particularly this atomizer. I've tried them before, but they just really weren't my thing. I just never had the right configuration to that I really liked working with vertical coils. Okay. Now, I see a lot of pictures on the internet, and I see people just plumb stuffing their coils with wick. Hey, if that's working out and rocking for you, I mean, there's just so much wick in there, I'm just like, okay, that's the way you're going to roll it. But I don't really go with a whole bunch of wick at all. I keep the wick pretty well. Just getting down in the bottom for transportation, and then all this stuff is going to go away. I'm not going to be jacking up my atomizer with just a bunch of wicks. All that's going to do is hold wick down in there. I just want to dip it into that pool and let it get the juice upwards into the coil. Okay, so that's really about it. That's my goal when I wick. Still experimenting with the perfect height of wick coming out of the top of the coils. Obviously, I want enough that it doesn't get like jacked out of there, but I don't want so much that it's like, you know, just holding juice well above it, right? This will be a good example of what I'm saying about it not compressing a bunch. I think that's probably a pretty good quality to have because it makes it a lot easier to judge, particularly for someone new to wicking with cotton or wicking an atomizer in general. It makes it pretty easy to judge. What you're going to put in is pretty much what you're going to be dealing with. No major guesstimation. So this one is probably a little closer to more accurately of how I like the density I'll be running. I usually run it. I can tell by how it went together, how it felt when I did my deal with it there. So yeah, what goes in is pretty much what you're going to get and what's going to stay there. It doesn't do a whole bunch of what we call it density manipulation as it starts to saturate. It just does its deal right there. So we're gonna trim out. Don't need an atomizer deck loaded with cotton. Not gonna do me any good. It's not gonna do the vape any good. Just to have a bunch of cotton sitting down there sucking stuff up that ain't going nowhere. I want it to come right up here. This is where the action is in the coil. It is not down there in the well. So I think it's kind of like, as long as it's hitting the well, it's good with me. As long as it's down in the well, I'm good with it. Okay. You'll notice some little fibrous stuff there. That'll probably start to disappear. Now, let's put some juice on it. Let's tighten in and put a little juice on it. I'm putting juice on it like this. Might be a little different than the way you put your juice on it, but that's how I put my juice on it. Just by squeezing away. You know, fill up the wells there, right there to the maximum depth of the wells. So let's kind of keep an eye on it and watch how quickly it takes for it to kind of get up to this area here is where I'm really wanting it to be. And while I'm doing that, I'll probably just give it a little haircut here, just a little here and a little there. My haircut scissors sort of are lacking here. I mean, they're alright for certain things. So yeah, we'll just let that kind of get up here to the top of everything. You can see that it's soaked up the contents of the wells pretty quickly there, right? So we're just going to re-hit it again, let it soak, get another shot in there. Yeah, the native Wicks, I'm impressed with it, very impressed. Like I said, I can't really see myself this in comparison next to a piece of Kojendo. Let's just say that here's the my kind of fiddled with piece of native Wicks. Here's Kojendo. Total different look of fibers. I mean, it's completely different. These are all long strands. I mean, I don't know. I haven't pulled them all apart. But they might be 3 feet freaking long. For all I know, they might be as long as that piece. But it's devoid of seeds. And again, I am a damn good seed picker. I've been picking them for a while. And pull the outside layer off. But I think there's more clarity to this wick. I know they say that KGD is less processed, and it's all cool. It's been good to me for many years, and I'm sure it still serves many well. But I've kind of have made my switch over to this stuff right here. Again, I wouldn't even have found out about it had I not visited a buddy, like a Facebook friend. And turned out to be a really cool dude, really cool connection, part of the Atlanta Sub-Ohm crew. I think he is like the main man of the Sub-Ohm crew. He's got some sick mods, sick addies, just a chill dude. I'm glad he turned me on to this, because every now and then you just need to mix it up a little in your vape game. Things get stagnant. It's nothing to look forward to anymore. You just find little things to do. So I think at this point right here, you can kind of see a little bit of that drains out of there. Has a little bit of a drainage, and then the wick's just picking up the rest. And I would say it's really close to the point where I would be gaming on with that. What would you do? Would you want to vape that right about now? I'm thinking you would, wouldn't you? I'm thinking I would too, almost. I'm looking at this. See, this is the one I ran a little thinner over here. That was the first one I did. This one's a little thicker, but you can see that it's picking up and catching up, and it's getting up into there. The thinner one, I'm going to pull that up a little bit too. Because again, a fear that I've always had about verts is I'd hate to have the wick just get suctioned out of the coil. Remember, I'm not just dripping in here. There's some serious suction and vacuuming action going on in here over the course of the life of my wicks. I usually leave them in. This is unflavored Nick base. It's pretty much all VG. It's about 12 milligram. My wicks stay in for a while. They're not, I mean, I'll pull them out when I rebuild, basically. Maybe, or if I'm making a video. In this case, this Atomizer, I was just vaping the living dog piss out of it. And then I had to pull it out to re-wick. Other than that, I'm not re-wicking very often with unflavored Nick base. The wicks stayed perfect. So there you go. I'm thinking that other one is caught right up pretty decently. It's right there. Let's cover this puppy up. It's covered up. Let's throw a little vaping on it. It's a small vape. Native Wicks. Good stuff right there. Super X saying, hope you enjoy this product if you choose to try it. I know I sure do. See ya.